this means it's for kids. You know, this means it's for teens. You know, this means don't tell mom.
Chris, what are you doing?
Nothing!
But here's what you don't know.
There was no rating on this game at all. We've got to get further into this.
Hey everyone, it's time to rip our hearts out. The first game to receive a mature rating didn't receive that rating until 2 years after its release. The game was so violent that it led to Senate hearings, press conferences, and smear campaigns, and eventually the formation of the ESRB, which currently rates all video games before they hit the shelves. What was the game that caused all this commotion? Can you guess? That's right, Mortal Kombat! Finish him! When developers at Midway saw the success of Street Fighter 2, they wanted to cash in with their own fighting game. How could they differentiate their game from such a well-known rival?
This is the best. I played every chance I get.
The first change they made was to use the movements of live actors to simulate the fights in the game.
My name is Liu Kang.
I'm Johnny Cage.
I'm Sonya Blade.
And remember, Mortal Kombat is totally true to life. Or is that death?
The second change was a little less subtle. The graphics were better because of the way they— Whoa! Did that guy just rip that other guy's spine out? Gnarly! That's the real reason the game was violent. Violence is fun, kids. Try it at home. Don't try it at home.
Kiss him!
Oh, wait a minute, what did you just say?
Cold-blooded murder is making Mortal Kombat the most popular video game in history.
How do you feel about cutting his head off?
Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, the game got into the hands of the evil and demonic Joe Lieberman. Boo!
We now require warning labels on toys that can potentially damage children's bodies. Why not do so on a toy that can damage their minds?
Lieberman, a Democratic senator from Connecticut, the future presidential hopeful, was appalled by the game's violence and immediately called for Senate hearings to decide what to do about violence in video games.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Sub-Zero wins. Friendship. Friendship.
F is for
Fatality.
The story that follows is old news. Every few years, someone wants to blame entertainment for the woes of society, whether it's the violent video games, Marilyn Manson, or Eminem.
You know, generally good is what you like and evil is what you don't like. And everybody's gonna have a different opinion.
And every time they do, all they end up accomplishing is making the content even more popular. Lieberman was at least entertaining, though. In a press conference before the hearings, he brought out Captain Kangaroo to support him, a character who hadn't been on television in almost a decade.
They can indeed cause great emotional and other damage to a child.
You remember Chicken Little? He's the one who said...
Oh, the one who said the sky is falling,
That's
right?
the one!
Yeah, no, wait.
That would be like using lamb chop to persuade a 10-year-old. What, kids? You don't know who lamb chop is?
Bounce your bottom in your chair. Bounce it here, bounce it.
Well, that's the point.
This is a song that... Charlie Horse!
Let's just say that Lieberman did not have his finger on the pulse.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
Video game developers created the ESRB, Entertainment Software Ratings Board, to placate senators who argued against video game violence.
It makes choosing video games easier, no matter what their age.
The ESRB's first act was to give Mortal Kombat an M rating, which meant that children under 17 couldn't buy it unless they found a Walmart employee who would look the other way. Impossible, we know.
What if there's a game out there that you would want to play, but because of this rating system, you wouldn't be allowed to? Then what would you do?
I guess not play it.
Not only did this not stop developers from making violent video games, it actually made it easier for companies to make them. Now, they have the rating to hide behind.
Counselor! That you? Come out, wherever you are.
And so a video game so violent that they had to create a whole rating system just to sell it ended up normalizing and even popularizing violence in video games.
Hey! Don't open that box, man! Those are violent video games.
So next time you marvel at the blood splatter that emerges from your newest kill, headshot! Say a little thank you to Mortal Kombat. Or Joe Lieberman.
Warning labels require warning labels. Toys damage their mind. Warning labels damage their minds.
This has been another incredibly age-appropriate episode of What You Don't Know.